Now, as someone that created a Twitter account earlier this year dedicated to my favorite car in endurance racing, the Cadillac V Series R, follow the Caddy Report, it's safe to say I was over the moon when it was announced that Cadillac would be the brand used by General Motors to enter Formula 1 in 2026. By now, many content creators have made the reaction vid to the announcement, and I should know, because I had the absolute pleasure of being featured in Tomo's video where I gave my driver predictions for the team come 2026. But as I go through not only YouTube but also Twitter, the driver predictions are for the most part samey. Colton Herta is my favorite IndyCar driver, and he seems to be in prime position to land one of the seats. He's probably the best American prospect for F1 at the moment now that Logan Sargent is gone, and he'd easily fit the vibe Cadillac is going for, in terms of being a team that does a far better job of embracing America than Haas was ever able to achieve. However, Herta's spot on the 2026 grid isn't necessarily guaranteed, because due to Andretti's overall fall off in 2022 and 2023, Herta has 2 P10s in the championship, which means that his super license points aren't there yet. Thanks to his banger 2024 season that saw him finish runner-up in the championship, now all he needs is a top 4 finish in IndyCar next year to get the super license. However, in a sport as mad as IndyCar, that's legitimately not a guarantee despite Herta's immense talent. Anything can happen, and in the event that this doesn't happen, and he's unable to get it, other names have been floating around as guys that could fill up that young driver spot. Names like Pato O'Ward, who also has ties to General Motors through the engine that powers his McLaren IndyCar. There's also Jack Crawford, a young American in F2 who could be eligible if he does well in F2 next season. I even jokingly suggested Connor Zilic as a reserve, however that's simply not possible given his current career path and the super license points given in NASCAR. However, there is one young driver in this I think everyone is forgetting. Now, I'll admit he's not the flashiest option at all and might not even be the most talented, but given what he'll be doing next year, who he's tied to right now, and what he's accomplished just last year, I don't think it's completely out of the blue for this guy to be in the running for the seat either. Who is this driver, you ask? Well, his name is Frederick Vesti. Vesti, you know. Listen, just let me explain my point. After what was a pretty mediocre maiden season of F2 in 2022, Mercedes junior Fred Vesti joined Prema in 2023 to contest the season, and his form allowed him to be a contender for that year's championship. He eventually brought the title fight all the way down to the last race, missing out to ART's Théo Pourchaire, another young driver I've recently made a video on. Now, this season from Vesti was quite impressive as he scored 6 wins and a pole position. As is the reward for a P2 finish in F2, Vesti received a super license for his efforts. Last year also saw him make his Formula 1 practice debut for Mercedes at Mexico, followed by another session at Abu Dhabi. Vesti had previously driven for Mercedes during the 2022 post-season Young Drivers Test, and he'd do the same in 2023. Toto Wolff has also held Fred in his good graces, stating publicly that he believes he's F1 caliber. Now, seeing that he was unable to get a seat for 2024 in F1, Vesti had to partake in various side quests alongside his brand new role as Mercedes reserve driver, one that he shared with Mick Schumacher. Now, these side quests came in the form of sports car racing. Vesti would race full-time in the European Le Mans series for Cool Racing, while also making starts in IMSA and the GT World Challenge, as well as competing in the 24 Hours of Le Mans for the first time. Vesti's team finished 9th overall in ELMS with 2 podiums in 6 races. He had an impressive 5th in the LMP2 class at Le Mans and would end his racing season with a P5 at Petit Le Mans in IMSA. However, here's where Cadillac ties come in. For 2025, Vesti has bagged his best non-F1 opportunity yet. He will be the 3rd driver for Action Express Racing, driving the number 31 Whelen Cadillac at the endurance rounds of the IMSA Championship in 2025. I do think that were he to excel in this role and impress the higher-ups at GM, coupled with some more FP1 outings that I believe he'll be in prime position to get, seeing that Kimi Antonelli steps up to the 2nd Merc seat full-time next year, there could be a chance that Vesti could wiggle his way into contention for the Caddy F1 seat. Anything can happen. F1 has proven this year that all a young driver needs to make a name for himself these days is that one opportunity. No one really thought Franco Colapinto was capable of setting the F1 world on fire when he got the call up, but he proved quickly that he's a fast learner even despite his rookie errors. Same for Liam Lawson last year, same for Ollie Bearman this year. If Vesti is needed at any point in 2024 to fill in for Russell or Antonelli in a Grand Prix racing capacity for whatever reason, that debut could very well be what allows the grid to see what he's made of. And it's easy to believe that Cadillac would get first dibs on him as he's already driving their hypercar. Everything I've said so far also goes for Felipe Drugovich, who drove for Cadillac at Le Mans last year and will do so again at next year's Rolex 24. But those will be his only 2 starts for Cadillac as for now. Vesti will have way more opportunities this year to get into Cadillac's good graces. And there's no doubt Toto Wolff would be willing to let Cadillac take Vesti to not only free up space for more juniors for Mercedes, but also give Vesti much needed F1 experience in case he ever needs him at his team in the future. But yeah, that's it. Not too long a vid, just something that was on my mind. I wanted to bring something different to the Cadillac F1 discussion aside from the obvious, and I think what I've presented here isn't necessarily that far-fetched and could very well happen assuming things fall precisely into place. Only time will tell though. My name is Intern, I talk wheel, and thanks for watching.